I've been teaching off and on since I was 14. But everyone is funny. Everybody in my family taught at some point. My mother taught at her high school the year after before she went to college. My sister did the same. My father taught at elementary school, and I taught at the university. I've been teaching at the university for the last. This is my 13th year full time in academia, and what I use or what I mean, academia. The first thing about teaching is you learn immediately that you have to figure out many different ways to explain something because one person might understand one way, another person might understand another way. So always being able to think on your toes to understand different reference points. And it's kind of like improvising in that sense, where you have this idea and it's like, well, how do you make this sound like this? Or then how do you make it sound like that, even though it's the same idea? I would say from that, and that's with respect to classroom teaching, and with respect to lessons it's another level. Some students, they need a lot of demonstration. Some students, they want you to listen and give them like really almost scientific type suggestion and critique of like exactly what needs to change with respect to their anatomy to make sounds change. So having to be able to toggle between the two. I had a trumpet teacher who every reference was to a golf swing, and he was like, well, you swing like this, it's like, so think about playing this like you chipping, think about playing this like you putting, think about playing this like you driving. um and being a teacher is just getting people to think. I don't believe in the concept of a teacher being the one with the information and the students being the ones needing the information. I don't believe in that. I believe that everyone has information at their fingertips and access to, and we're all in a space simply to with the result in mind. So like in your classroom, the result is the magazine, and the skills needed to create that magazine. And in my classroom, like in my experience with music class, the outcome is to hip people to different ways that they can use music for their own betterment as people and as well for their audience engaging. Um, my ensembles, like the jazz orchestra that I teach, studio jazz band at University of Miami. When I started teaching in academia, I did not know how to write for big band properly. I had taken a class, one class in big band arranging, and I never had a band to write for. But from the time I started teaching at Michigan State, I had this band, and we would do all these rep. And then I got called to write big band music for a show. I was like, okay, let me see. And I had to figure it out. But then luckily, I had this band at school. So now every semester, I write most of the charts that the bands play. And it gives the students a different experience because it gives them experience of playing something new. So that was something that I had to grow into, and now I make my students grow into it as well. So now my TA has to write a chart for a contest, and hopefully, if any student in the band has a chart that they want to perform it, and because of that, everybody's growing. It's just like for me, academia is just about figuring out a way for people to grow, and it's been a fascinating journey. I always tell. I'm sure you can understand as well because it's something that you're passionate about, and then you get to inspire people based on what you're passionate about, and they take your class, and then they might have an idea for their own magazine, or they might have an idea for their a blog, something from some of the techniques that you showed them, and then they might take it and be like, yo, prof, look at this, I started this. And it's always amazing like how they take things and go in a completely different direction.